In today's short analysis video, we will discuss on NetEase stock. And my dear friend, this is a follow-up video. Just 3 weeks ago, we had shared a detailed analysis video about this stock. We had identified this stock on a top with a negative chart pattern, and we had given you and red alert analysis, and we had informed that the stock will be in a big downside correction, and we have the opportunity to short sell before a big downside correction get trigger. And if you remember, just 3 months ago we had identified the negative chart pattern. There was a two negative chart pattern got trigger on the downside. If you would remember, I had identified this wedge pattern. We call it as a rising wedge pattern, and in Elliott waves terms we call it as terminal triangle pattern. And I told you that this is a negative pattern, and there was a support trend line which is already got breakdown. And also I had shown you there is a double top pattern. There is a double top pattern which is also got trigger on the downside, and along with that there is a rising wedge pattern or terminal triangle impulse. So this pattern, the moment it's get breakdown, I had clearly informed you that stock will give the downside correction, and we can utilize that as an opportunity to short sell. And exactly according to our analysis, the stock had given a massive downside correction, and it had triggered our both the targets on the downside. And those who are new to our channel, if they want to know our previous analysis about this breakdown, for that, for education purpose, if you need our previous analysis video about this negative breakdown for education purpose, we had pasted the link of the backdated video on the description of this video. On the description of this video you will find the link where we have discussed this negative pattern well in advance. We had informed well in advance before a big downside correction start. And now, dear friends, this downside target was not only just a target, but it was an important support also. So now the stock had taken a strong support from the target, and there was profit booking. The short seller initiated a position of short selling, and they had covered the position over here. And now the stock had bounced sharply from this strong support. So now today's analysis will be purely based on the buy side. So the one cycle of the downside is completed, and now there is another move on the upside about to ready. So my dear friends, so far if you haven't subscribed my channel, please subscribe it, because we this is before the big downfall on this stock, we had informed you well in advance. And now before a big upside move on this stock, we are again informing you well in advance. So this kind of analysis will be very useful for you. So far if you haven't subscribed my channel, subscribe it immediately. It will be a very benefits, and you will learn a good technicals from this channel. Okay, so now to study the positive factors, the positive chart pattern. This downside target is completed, and now the stock is ready for an upside move. So to forecast the positive structure, I have to remove these negative patterns. So my dear friends, now this stock has broken out from an important resistance level, and along with that there are multiple positive factors which has already been materialized, and it would allow us to capitalize an opportunity to buy this stock. Now we can buy this stock for an upside move. Earlier we had short sell this stock, and we had completed a downside cycle, and now the stock is giving you an opportunity to buy this stock before an upside rally get trigger. If we'll come to a lower time frame, then you will witness there is a positive structures building up, and this was an top where the stock had given a massive downside correction in the form of downward sloping parallel channel. And as long as the stock was trading under this downward sloping parallel channel, the stock got triggered with back-to-back lower lows. If you'll see over here, the first lower lows trigger here, the second lower lows, and the third lower lows here. But as soon as this downward sloping parallel channel got trigger on the upside, first time its lower lows shifted to higher highs. And this is an point where we got an two major positive signal. The first one is downward sloping parallel channel trigger on the upside. The moment this channel get break on the upside, the steep fall on the price actions got an immediate rejection. And the second one is lower lows shifted to higher highs. Whenever the lower lows get shifted to higher highs, we take that point as a confirmation that stock has completed the correction and now it's ready for an upside move. And my dear friends, now we will see the diversion. If you'll place a diversion indicator, you will be surprised to know there is a positive diversion breakout. If I'll place a diversion indicator, RSI or MACD, you can check there is the price action lower swing is tilting on the downside, and the MACD signal line is tilting on the upper side, and this is an area where we got a breakout and it's going to pump an upside momentum on the stock. So this is a third major positive signal we got so far. The first one is downward sloping parallel channel trigger on the upper side, lower lows shifted to higher highs, that was a second, and the third one is positive diversion. And now the final and most important signal, that will be in chart pattern. If you'll make a closer look over here, my dear friends, you will be witness the positive chart pattern breakout, and that positive chart pattern breakout is nothing but an inverted head and shoulder pattern break trigger. If you'll see over here, there is an inverted head and shoulder pattern got trigger. It's got trigger little bit on a sloping angle, but the stock had given a massive breakout with a huge gap up candle, and it sustained closing above the neckline. So this is a sustained closing above the neckline. So now there will be a high probability that stock will give the upside momentum of the first target of somewhere around $153, that will be marked in green, and the second target will be $155. But between the journey of this target, there will be an resistance in between. There is a gap is there. Stock will come to fill this gap, and this gap will act as a resistance. So they may be a possibility that stock may move upside. It may face and rejection at the resistance level, and again it will come down to retest the neckline, or it will come down deep retracement to fill the gap on the downside, and then it will start the journey on the upside. So this could be a possibility. So you have to keep your mindset ready to face the volatility. And now we will keep the stop loss should be the below the right shoulder, the swing below the right shoulder. That will be our stop loss on closing basis. So the stop loss should be below $136. If the stock closed below $136, then assume that the stop loss has triggered and stock will again start the downside cycle. So as long as $136 is protected, stock has all potential to hit the big upside target. This is it for today's analysis, my dear friends. If you really like my technicals, hit the like button of the video and subscribe to my channel for more such videos. Thanks. Bye bye.